Welcome to the September 5th Eclipse OpenJ9 community call. If you can add your name and affiliation to the list of attendees, that would be great, so we have some idea of who's been attending. We've got the usual agenda before us. If there's something you want to add in, feel free to chime in now or to jump in any other relevant section. So I'll just pause if somebody has something they think needs to be tackled off the top. Okay. No lightning talk scheduled this week. So please reach out if you have one you'd like to give, and we'll get that set up. Let's take a look at the recent end user issues. Looks like the only ones are from last week, so nothing new this week. Is there anything in this list that needs some discussion or some focus here on this meeting? Okay, then we'll jump back to the agenda. And that brings us to the release roadmap. Just going to zoom in a little bit to make that a little easier to read for people. All right, so 041. Have the M1 build started?
Nope, they haven't started yet.
Do we have an ETA on those?
Soon, I think. Adam?
Yeah, hopefully starting today.
Okay.
So hopefully out by the end of the week.
All right, that would be good. Let's take a look at the items we have left in the milestone. Looks like we're down to just 8 now. And I don't see the blocker tag on anything here. So how are we doing for being on track for getting these resolved? Is there any of these that we need to, sorry, losing my voice. Sorry. Is there anything on this list that we need to discuss today or need some focus? Do we expect these items to be resolved for this release, or are we thinking these are going to move forward again?
At least for the JIP problems, I'm hopeful that at least 2 of them can be resolved. Third one, I'm a little doubtful at this point. And I'll proactively move that one, the one that I'm doubtful of, out to 43.
All right. Thanks, Henry.
For the GC one, the buffer chew test, we made a change late last week to how system GC works. So we just want to see if this test and another test no longer fails intermittently, and then we'll close that.
Okay. What was the change to how system GC works?
It's more aggressive in doing GC and doing finalization.
Okay.
If you open the buffer chew issue, I put a link to the GC system GC change at the end.
Okay.
So basically, I think Hotspot was doing more when system GC was called than OpenJ9 was, and so tests seem to be relying on it more. And then we'd have to modify the test to call GC more times on so the tests can pass reliably on OpenJ9.
I'm thinking we probably want to highlight this in release notes because I think it's going to increase the cost of calling system.gc. And some applications might have been calling it twice already and now don't need to.
Do we have a release note label?
Depends, Doc.
Thank you. that change is in 041.
It's closed, but I'll do something after this meeting.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like we're in a reasonable place then for 041, assuming we can get the milestone builds up and running and nothing pops out there. Is there anything else that we need to call out around 041? Okay. Then 042, our JDK 21 release. We had been looking at Loom was likely going to take till the end of September to finish. Is that still an accurate assessment? Trying to see if Babney is on the call.
So Dan, for Loom, we have recently discovered that there were some of the JTREG testing that have not been enabled by default due to a test flag misset. After re-enabling it, we've noticed there are about 6 new failures related to Loom.
Okay.
2 of which are completely unrelated. It was more due to an implementation specific. One of them were already a known failure, just reported under a different test case. And one of them seemed to be a sort of a format issue between outputs. So there are still, I think, 2 failures that have been untriaged at the moment, as both me and Bethany are working on other of the issues. So those 2 might be taking a bit longer than we have expected at the moment, as no one have time to work on those yet. It could be a simple fix, but we're not sure at the moment.
Okay. Is the work that we were aware of still likely to complete by the end of September?
So far, everything that we've already discovered is still on track in terms of timeline.
Okay. Cheng, how are we doing for FFI?
So far we working on the native code in downcode to support unit support. Specifically, there's a problem with the alignment. So I expect I still need a couple days to figure out how to deal with the tricky situation. Yeah, that's about it.
So originally you had been talking mid to late September. Is that still your goal?
So far I still, yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Okay. All right. Let's take a quick look at the milestone plan then. There's still a lot of items in here, so probably too many to talk through. Is there any that we need to touch on or should touch on in this call? Okay. So it sounds like we still don't have a good code split date. We have talked about doing M0 builds after the 041. I assume with 041 not complete, we haven't done these builds yet.
Correct, but that's still the plan.
Okay. All right. Anything else we want to touch on for JDK 21? All right. Then we'll jump down to the general business. Adam, is there an update on the infrastructure?
There's a few Z-Linux we're having issues with. I think we've seen the issue before. I don't recall if it's a Marist DNS issue or a machine DNS issue, but haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So I think the machines are disabled at the moment. Other than that, I think everything's as usual.
Okay. I don't see Marius, so I assume no JIT server update. I don't see Toby either, so I assume no CRIU update. Hung, is there an update on Valhalla?
No update this week.
Okay. Any other business that we want to tackle this week? All right, then thank you, everybody. We'll have the next one of these calls September the 12th.
Thank you.